Hey guys, how's it going? It's Nathan here. Well, I decided to change it up, sit by my fireplace. Well, happy holidays. Hope you guys are having a great day. If it's not the holidays, or if you're watching this after the holidays, well, I hope you guys had fun with your friends and families and spend some quality time with them. Alright, so in this video, we're going to talk about the Ecovacs. I've been getting a lot of questions about the Ecovacs, especially with the T8 models. Some of the questions like, what's the difference between the non-AIVI and AIVI? Also, I'm going to go ahead and talk about some of the models you should avoid in the Ecovacs lineup. I felt like some of the models are not worth the extra price, even though they have better specs. I felt like the cheaper models were a little bit better option. Alright, let's go and get started. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about the first questions I get is, what's the difference between the AIVI and non-AIVI on a T8 model? Well, the AIVI basically means it has a front-facing camera. There's a couple reasons why you would want to get the front-facing camera. The main reason is for the obstacle avoidance. With the AIVI system, it allows you to avoid like shoestrings. Also, you can avoid like power strips, poo, and also like slippers. Over time, Ecovacs has been including new objects in the database, so over time it should get better at recognizing objects. Now there's the non-AIVI. It uses different types of sensor, it uses lasers, so the lasers won't discern if it's a shoe or a different type of object, but it doesn't know that it's a shoe, it just will avoid the object regardless. Now with the laser-based system, you won't be able to accurately avoid poo, so that's just something to consider. Now, with the AIVI system, you do have live streaming. That's another option. With the live streaming capabilities, it allows you to check up on your home or your pets when you're away. It's a nice little feature if you like the mobile security. Now, if you're concerned about privacy issues, you can turn off that feature. Also, Ecovacs does provide with a lens cover, so you can actually cover up the lens, and the robot backing will still navigate with its LiDAR-based navigation. Alright, so another thing I've gotten is like, is there a Pro model of the T8 version? Well, I did buy a T8 version from AliExpress or Alibaba, and it did say Pro on it. Now, for my testing of that robot vacuum, I didn't notice any differences, even though some users say that there's better battery life and it's a little bit stronger, but I really didn't notice that. Another thing is, if you get a robot vacuum that's not region-based or within your region, you may have problems with connectivity. For my example, I had to find a Chinese number and go through the verification process, but I wasn't able to connect with Alexa using the Alibaba model. So I would highly recommend just getting a robot vacuum for your region. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about some of the other models here. So let's go ahead and pull out my smartphone. Alright, let's go and jump into Ecovacs website. I'll go and type into my browser here, if I can spell right. There's a lot of great models out. So there's been some great seals with the Ecovacs models. There's the T8, there's the U2, which I believe is a brand new model. I haven't had much time looking into it. I'll try to get one on this channel, but there's also U2 Pro. So you see that there's two price differences. I did have some time to go over the specs of the U2, so let's go and check out the $199 version. One nice thing about the U2 is it does have the electronically controlled mopping system, and it does cover a large area, over 2,000 square feet. So if you're looking for a good, easy-to-use mopping robot, the U2 is a good option. It doesn't have the smart mapping system, so it uses gyro and accelerometers to do a systematic cleaning pattern, minus having the ability to do like room select, area select, or keep out zones. But for the price $199, I think this is the model to get. I would avoid the Pro model, even though it does have the longer battery life at 2.5 hours. I believe the 110 minutes is still pretty long, over 90 minutes. So I definitely recommend the U2 model over the U2 Pro model, unless you have a fairly large floor plan, maybe 3,000 square feet or more. Alright, let's go jump back here. Okay, so there's the Deebot Ozmo T8. A lot of people have been asking about it. Now, the T8 also has a couple extra features you can add on to the robot. You can get a vibrating mopping module, which Ecovacs sells separately. I believe it's like $99. Also, you can get the self-emptying bin for less than 200 bucks. So if you want a robot vacuum that you can upgrade over time, I highly recommend the T8. Unfortunately, even though the T5 looks very similar to the T8, you actually can't add those accessories to the T5. It's only exclusive for the T8 model, but the T8 has all the latest and greatest that Ecovacs offers. Now, one thing you may not know about the Ozmo series is it does have a carpet avoidance sensor. What that allows it to do is, on carpet, it will not bop your carpets. So basically, it will avoid your carpet actively. Instead of having to draw out like a no mopping zone with other models, you actually can just actively avoid your carpet. Now, I did get a question saying, hey, can I vacuum and mop at the same time while I'm on carpet? Unfortunately, there's no way to disable the sensor, so you do have to physically remove the mopping attachment before the Ozmo will get onto your carpet and start vacuuming. So that's just something to consider. I know me personally, I wouldn't want to drag a mopping pad on my carpet, but some people like to set up where they'll do a dry mopping pad while vacuuming the carpet, and then they'll go ahead and activate the water system while doing the hardwood floors. That's something you can do with the Robot models, where you can set up your own no mopping zones. Okay, so with the T8, it's one of the strongest robot vacuums out there. I believe the CFM is around 24. Also, the battery life is one of the best, around 200 minutes. So you can't go wrong with the T8 model, and it does have that front-facing camera. Or if you're concerned about privacy issues, you can get the laser system as well. Alright, let's go and scroll down here. So yes, it has the precision laser mapping. It does have all the smart mapping capabilities. Does support multi-floor mapping. I believe it's up to 3. And you do have a high efficiency filter that captures up to 99% of the particles, can go over thresholds. Most of these robot vacuums can go up to like 20 millimeters. And it does have recharge and resume. So that's one thing I recommend, is looking at a cheaper model that has less battery life, because with the recharge and resume, you don't necessarily need the longer battery life unless you have a really large floor plan. And it does work with Alexa and Google. Okay, so there's the pricing of the accessories for the T8. It's $99 and $249, so it's not a bad price. Alright, let's go ahead and jump back here, and we'll look at some other models. Now, let's look at the T5 here. So, if you don't need all the front-facing camera, or you're not planning on getting like the self-emptying bin or vibrating mopping module, the T5 is not a bad option. It takes the same standard platform as the T8 or the 950 platform, and has the same battery life for a cheaper price. So this is a good option if you're just someone that just wants a good mopping robot and vacuum robot as well. And it uses the same extractor bars and dual side brushes as well. So yes, the navigation is the same 3.0. You get the same multi-floor mapping and all that fun stuff. Okay, let's go and jump back here. And keep in mind that all the Ozmo series do use electronically controlled mopping system, unless otherwise stated. Okay, so there's some cheaper options I haven't personally tried out, like the Deebot 500. Let's go and scroll down here. This guy has 110 minutes. Still, over 90 minutes is not a bad battery life. It has a max mode, selective cleaning, and it uses the same dual side brush system and extractor bars. And I'm glad that this guy uses Alexa and Google. Okay, so for this model, it looks like a random pattern. So this is great for if you're looking for something with a smaller home or a smaller area, and you don't need all the smart mapping features, and you're trying to save some money. It looks like this robot vacuum is not a bad price, and it just kind of bounces around. So the Deebot isn't a bad price. Alright, let's go and jump back here. Now let's go and talk about some of the models I would avoid. I personally tried out the Ozmo 960. This was Ecovacs' first model that had the camera-based system. Think of it as like the first generation. I felt like the recognition could use some work, and for $800, I think you can get the T8 for a little bit cheaper. So it's kind of a no-brainer to get the T8 model instead of the 960 model, because the T8 does use the newer platform that's based on the 950 platform. Also, the older platform, I felt like the navigation could use some work, which was probably not as good as like the newer models, even though the newer platform still needs some mapping work. Ecovacs has been pushing some updates to improve it. It's not perfect, but it's definitely gotten better, especially over the 960 platform. Now for the 960 platform, I believe the battery life was 110 minutes. And from my personal experience covering a 2,700 square foot home, I wasn't quite able to get the entire floor plan under one charge. But keep in mind, you do have to recharge and resume. And that's just a quick look at the 960. Again, the 960 will not work with the self-emptying bin or vibrating mopping module. That's only for the T8 models. Alright, let's go and jump back here. So Ecovacs also offers camera-based systems. So the benefit of having a camera system is it's still able to provide that systematic cleaning pattern. Also, you can physically move the robot, and the robot should be able to relocate itself and figure out where it's at. So if you don't want the smart mapping capabilities like room select, area select, but you want a robot vacuum that can actively position itself, well, I would highly recommend a camera-based option. So here's the Deebot 710. It uses Smart Nav 2.0, so that just means it does have the smart mapping capabilities. And it does work with Alexa and Google, has the automatic charging, and uses similar filter as the higher-end models. And one nice thing about all the Wi-Fi models is it does have OTA, which is over-the-air updates. So yes, these robot vacuums can get better over time through software. Okay, let's go ahead and jump back here. And let's go ahead and look at some other models. I believe we got the 937. I haven't had a chance to look at the 937, but basically it's the same platform as the 960, just without the front-facing camera. And you can see you can save a few bucks there. Alright, so it looks like Ecovacs does have a lot of models. The T5 is a good option if you don't want the front-facing camera and you don't want to use the self-emptying bin or a vibrating mopping module. You find out that's not necessary. Okay, so in a nutshell, basically, if you want the latest and greatest from Ecovacs, the T8 is the best option. You can either get the non-AIVI or the AIVI. Now, if you just want a good, easy-to-use robot vacuum that can mop, the U2 is a good option. Keep in mind, it doesn't have the smart mapping capabilities, but it does have the gyro accelerometers, so you do get the systematic cleaning pattern. Now, if you want something a little bit cheaper, the N79 is a good option. If you just plan on just having a smaller floor plan or a smaller house and you don't want a very complex robot, this guy will just kind of bounce around and clean a smaller area. And again, I would avoid the 960 model since the T8 came out and basically offers everything that the 960 has for a cheaper price and better performance. Also, for the U2 series, I highly recommend getting like the basic model, non-pro model, because the only difference is the battery life, 2.5 hours versus 110 minutes. And I felt like the $100 price difference, it's not worth it. So definitely just get the basic U2 model for $199. Alright, so I hope that kind of explains some of the basics of the Ozmo T8 and other models. And if you have any questions, feel free to shoot one down below and I'll be more than happy to answer them, or any other vacuum model. Alright, have a great rest of your day. You guys be safe out there, and until next time.